Hey YouTube, this is Ben Gessel. How's it going? Really quick note here before I get into the kind of meat of this video. Just had an Android update and it changed everything. So I just love it when you have that happen. And oh, it's better than it used to be, and then you have to get used to a new system. And then of course you have to go through the same thing. This is kind of similar thing when you get a new computer or get a new phone. And I just wish that we'd stop with this new stuff, or at least have fewer changes. This coming from someone who's not even very old yet. So, anyway, yeah, that's my little rant for today. Updates. Anyway, so I just reviewed YouTube's community guidelines. Funny thing is that there's nothing really new here. People are saying that there is a little bit less mercy. I understand kind of the fewer strike system kind of thing going on. Well, I'm trying to find the right train of thought here, because I've heard a lot of complaints about YouTube, of course, increasingly so in the last few years, and increasingly so in the last few months. It does make sense, but a lot of it's kind of in the conspiracy arena or political or whatever. And there's not as much of the anti-YouTube thing that seems to be coming from community guideline issues or strikes or that sort of thing. Yeah, there's probably some of that, but it's a little bit more. I'm more familiar with the Illuminati connections with Google, that sort of thing. At least the rumored. We're talking about rumors, still, pretty much. Or I can understand a variety of different opinions about that, even so. But yeah, the community guidelines. So posting things online is nothing new. I'm very familiar with this whole thing, and when I was younger, I was on other platforms, other social media, other stuff. And every system has its own rules, and YouTube is not really very draconian. If anything, they don't really enforce their policies very much because they're so big, right? So they're going to be cracking down a bit more on stuff. I haven't really seen it. The thing, folks, is I mean, with my own videos, yeah, I very very much try to keep a low profile, low key in a way, kind of thing. I don't even just reviewing the community policies, going over, obviously, nudity is not good. That's right. So no sex, right? No encouraging of extreme violence, or racism, or hatred, or whatever, or harassment, or cyberbullying, none of that stuff. Of course, no swearing. That's pretty strict. I no copyright stuff. I understand. This is all, and no spam or scams, that sort of thing, and all the other stuff that they have on there. This is all their. I didn't. I probably didn't even need to review that stuff. I know all of it already. It's pretty much the way it's always been. They're just going to be enforcing it maybe a bit more, but I haven't seen them enforce it more. So it's no big thing. There are people that have put out videos saying, YouTube is going to crack down on violent video game videos about violent video games. No, I think YouTube understands a video game is a video game, and if you say this is age restricted stuff, or it's it's going to be more of a military type of video game, YouTube would probably not have an issue with that because it's a video game. Obviously, the issue comes in when you're talking about regulated, supposedly regulated fight, right? But it's full contact, or it's, and YouTube specifically says if there's a real fight, people really hitting each other hard, and they're minors. I read that was a bad thing, right? So there's probably these little details I could still review regarding violence, but I don't post that stuff. If anything, just like some of you, I don't know. Occasionally, I've looked into inner city fights, that sort of thing. If I've just been really bored and stuff, but I'd be curious to know if some of these videos of guys just on inner cities can be taken down, because I don't know. Maybe be questions of how graphic the violence is. I don't know. Or Phoenix Jones, of all people, man, poor, gosh, he's out there helping out people in Seattle. Police are always on his case. Are videos of Phoenix Jones fighting? Are they going to be flagged? Are they going to be, I don't know. So I still understand that there's still some debate, some vagueness as to what constitutes violations of things. I just don't even go. I mean, my own content, I don't even go there, man. I don't. So and then there's things like, oh gosh, what is considered not just disparaging toward people that are homosexual or different races or disabled or whatever. What's considered disparaging videos or comments toward those people? But also, that can be a little less clear sometimes compared to what is harassment or cyberbullying. So obviously, we all get a little bit upset, and maybe some of us more than others, by somebody on YouTube here and there. If you say, nope, not a fan, and jink, you end it there, it's pretty safe bet that you're okay. If you, I think the days, I think YouTube wants to get rid of the intensity of the bullying or the arguments. That YouTube wants to tone things down a bit. Well, there definitely are quite a few videos I've seen on YouTube where they should really get on that, and it's because nothing has ever happened to those folks. Or in some videos, every single comment is really bad. Yeah, maybe they want to get rid of that stuff. Rightfully so. It shouldn't be on YouTube. I can understand, you can still have intense comments. You can still have very upset comments, but when you start getting into the bullying, and that's just not good stuff. Absolutely. But when it comes to things like, I'm gonna point this. I'm gonna single this one out more than anything else. I'll single this one out because this is one of the big things that I noticed. It's really easy for me to know if something I've said on a video or something I've written can be in any way remotely construed as being racist. And really, I mean, to tell you the truth, no, there isn't anything I've posted that's racist. So I'm not worried about that. What I am a little concerned about, though, it has to do with stating I don't approve of homosexuality myself, or I don't approve of changing your gender, that sort of thing, as a moral statement. I don't. But when someone says that, it's a little bit different, very different kind of statement than people that are homosexual or transgender or whatever. All the sexual orientation stuff. Those people need to be they're scum, or they should be hurt, or I don't know, something much more disparaging than that, right? If you post something in a video or you say something that is attacking someone like that in the LGBTQ community, well, again, it's for many people that are very sensitive about those sorts of things, it's not always very clear if you're simply just not approving of that kind of lifestyle, in your own life, right? It's like, I'm not going to do that. And I also don't think it's right for others to do that, but I'm mainly saying I'm not going to do that, right? Um, again, there's some confusion. There's some confusion out there as to whether or not someone says that, as opposed to, if I see you, if I find you, or I find out that you're this one of these people, I'm going to make your life hell, right? Okay. Well, there is a difference, and YouTube needs to know what that difference is. This is what I'm talking about mainly. I really see this as being an issue, because if you try to create safe spaces, or all of this stuff, right? This is increasingly a thing I'm noticing, in the world, the Western world, is that we're creating safe spaces and safe, whatever. And the intent is to not have the LGBTQ community harassed, right? They don't want to feel harassed. They don't want to feel uncomfortable, right? I understand that. I get that. I totally understand that. Absolutely. But it doesn't. There should never be a policy in effect that says you must, as a YouTube commenter or a YouTube video creator or whatever, you must accept the LGBTQ morals or lifestyle as being just as good as your own. You can't say, that heterosexuality is morally better, right? If YouTube actually starts saying that, then they are in effect advocating, they're they've become a religion, right? They're advocating secularism, whatever it is. It's not in agreement with what many of us believe to be true. And if we are ourselves secular or we're whatever else, LGBTQ is fine. If that is the case, cool. But who is YouTube to determine what your own lifestyle should be? I mean, who are they? You came here for video content, right? Watching, not to be indoctrinated by some thing, right? Now you can talk about schools. I've heard the public school thing regarding all the people going into public schools that are trying to get kids to question their gender and all that stuff. That's a similar. I am aware of that kind of thing. But it's interesting that YouTube. So my suspicion or my concern is that YouTube would try to, in the future, at some point, advocate something like that. And there's a difference, folks. As you know, there's a difference between harassing people that are LGBTQ folks and just saying you don't do that yourself. You don't, advocate. You don't live that way yourself. You don't advocate that lifestyle. And so, again, I've always been, I think, on the good to go arena with YouTube. I've always been okay with them. That's one of the reasons I'm still on YouTube, is because they've been pretty fair with me, and I understand what their policies are, and they are still fair. But there's this one area when it comes to LGBTQ folks. It's just a question of what they consider to be in violation of their policies. So you can talk about politics. You can talk about censoring of channels that are, conservative or whatever. And that, I'm familiar with that kind of thing. Believe me, I've seen all kinds of videos about that kind of stuff. But yeah, you guys know where I'm drawing the line here. I think YouTube, if they see this video as well, knows where I'm drawing the line. So we can talk about how vague their policies are, but their policies aren't really all that vague, right? But they still kind of are. But that's because we're talking about establishing any kind of standard anywhere in an online venue. It's going to be really hard to be specific at some point. If people really want to get in the nitty-gritty of stuff. It's the same deal with my religion, in fact, or religion in general, or anything that involves commandments, laws and policies, right? So you have books and books and books and pages of stuff that you shouldn't do, different kinds of jobs and things and different kinds of whatever. It's like, very, very few times in life do you find any kind of system of laws, policies, commandments, standards, morals, values, any kind of, set of things like that that are really concise. The Ten Commandments are just 10 commandments, but you can actually make them a million if you want to, a million commandments or more, because there's so many different kinds of things that each of those 10 commandments touches on. So, I'm not trying to defend YouTube. What I'm trying to say is it can be hard for YouTube to be even plainer and clearer than they already are. Not necessarily because some of what they're talking about is of a delicate nature, which when it comes to sex, that definitely can be the case. But can you think of every single instance for every single subject possible where YouTube would have a clear policy on what cannot be talked about, shown? Talking about cannibalism, for instance, is cannibalism okay? Well, if you're talking about it in an academic sense, okay, sure. If you're talking about it in a real life, you're actually seeing someone roasted alive and eaten, that probably wouldn't fly. In fact, it would probably be illegal, but it's probably only illegal in the Western world or nations where cannibalism is illegal. If you show it in, I don't know where, but you see what I'm trying to say, right? Okay, so at this point, I think I'm about done. Yeah. Probably because of the nature of what I'm talking about, I'm probably a little bit more assertive, and I'm not saying I'm always 100% always, YouTube's, brown nosing little schoolboy. I'm certainly not saying I'm not saying I'm always, in favor of YouTube's policies, but what I am saying is that I don't have a serious beef with them. I'm just curious as to the LGBTQ, thing. I'm curious as to what will fly and what won't fly, especially in our world in the Western world, where we have genderless bathrooms and I've heard things about, even in California, they're starting to have genderless words for things like manholes, and that, yeah, political correctness. I hate it. All right, I'll catch you guys. Oh, leave me thoughts and comments below. Catch you guys later. Bye.